Multichoice is counting the cost of piracy. The DSTV operator says more than 2 million people view pirated versions of the series and movies available on its platform, hemorrhaging billions of rands in annual sales. The piracy headache comes as Multichoice grapples with a loss of subscribers, particularly in South Africa. Africa's biggest pay TV operator has gone from 23 million subscribers to 19.3 million in less than 2 years. The ANC is prepping its January 8 birthday statement, which will be delivered by party President Cyril Ramaphosa this weekend in Cape Town. Analysts, investors and organized business have been keen followers of the statement because the party has long used the event to set its agenda and government's program for the year. This year's statement will have added importance as the ANC, which fared poorly at last year's polls, prepares for the crucial local government elections in 2026. It also comes when fissures are widening within the party and with its alliance partners. Prolonged water challenges in Johannesburg are putting a strain on landlords. The city's experienced a severe water crisis with supply disruptions lasting as long as 86 hours. And with water supply disruptions affecting properties, landlords are forced to offset the effect on tenants, ultimately hurting their bottom line. Miles Kritzinger, CEO of SA Multifamily Residential Rental Association, says the situation is a huge concern and would be worse when people came back from the holidays in the coming weeks. In international news, TSMC, the world's largest contract chipmaker, reported its fourth quarter revenue that easily beat market forecasts as it reaped the benefit of high AI demand. Here's more detail in this package report.
TSMC easily beat market forecasts with its fourth quarter sales. The world's largest contract chipmaker saw revenue hit $26.36 billion according to Reuters calculations. That means growth boomed more than a third year on year. The Taiwan company scored big from demand for artificial intelligence. Its customers include Apple and Nvidia, and it's been at the forefront of the march towards AI. TSMC reported revenue jumped almost 58% year on year for December alone. The company did not provide details in its brief revenue statement. Other Taiwan companies have also reported strong fourth quarter revenue due to the AI boom. iPhone assembler Foxconn beat expectations to post its highest ever revenue for the final 3 months of last year. TSMC will report full fourth quarter earnings next week, when it will update its outlook for the current quarter and full year. The company's stock leapt 81% last year, but closed flat on Friday ahead of the release of the revenue numbers.
And Europe's wind power generation reached 20% of total electricity consumption in 2023, yet new capacity additions fell short by over 50% of the EU's 2030 renewable energy goals. Here's more on that.
Wind power provided 20% of the electricity consumed in Europe last year, but the capacity built during the year was less than half of what is needed to meet the European Union's 2030 energy and climate targets. That's according to industry group Wind Europe on Friday. Wind has been a growing part of Europe's electricity production for more than 20 years, and the EU wants it to grow much more to meet targets to combat climate change as it reduces reliance on fossil fuels. Europe built a reported 15 gigawatts of new wind energy last year, including 13 gigawatts of offshore wind and around 2 gigawatts of onshore wind, according to data from Wind Europe. But to reach its 2030 climate targets, the 27-nation bloc should be building 30 gigawatts a year of new wind farms. The EU wants wind power to account for 34% of electricity consumed by 2030 and more than 50% by 2050. The global offshore wind industry in particular has faced a challenging few years. That's due to infrastructure, grid connection and logistics issues. Wind Europe says offshore investments in Europe have fallen and it remains challenging for companies to take final investment decisions.